When your country is labelled high risk by the world's financial watchdogs, the consequences aren't just for the rich or powerful. They hit the very core of your economy: banks, trade, ordinary people. Papua New Guinea was grey-listed in 2014. In 2016, PNG exited. But what did it really take? And how much of an escape was it? In 2014, FATF, through its ICRG, the International Cooperation Review Group, flagged serious deficiencies in PNG's anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing regime. These were not minor oversights. They included no strong regulation or oversight, poor suspicious transaction reporting, weak enforcement, loopholes in the law, and little capacity in law enforcement and financial intelligence. Banks overseas were nervous, correspondent banking relationships were under threat, investor confidence was shaky, PNG's reputation was on the line. Prime Minister Peter Charles Per O'Neill, who had come into office in 2011, faced a defining moment. He and his cabinet recognised this isn't just about compliance. If PNG stayed grey-listed, growth would slow, capital would stay away, trade would suffer. What O'Neill's government did in 2015 was extraordinary. They pushed through 5 major AML and CFT laws: the Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorist Financing Act 2015. Amendments to the Criminal Code to explicitly include money laundering and terrorist financing offences. Mutual Assistance in Criminal Matters Amendment Act 2015, Proceeds of Crime Amendment Act 2015, United Nations Financial Sanctions Act 2015. They established critical institutions such as the Financial Analysis and Supervision Unit within the Bank of PNG, acting also as the Financial Intelligence Unit. Agencies that had been weak or unfunded were strengthened. They created the National Coordinating Committee for AML and CTF, bringing police, customs, banks and prosecutors together to coordinate. They strengthened oversight, improved reporting requirements such as suspicious transaction reporting, and improved cross-border currency controls. February 2016 brought the verdict. PNG was removed from the FATF grey list. It was praised internationally. The FATF, ICRG and Asia-Pacific Group all noted that PNG's legal and supervisory framework was now compliant. But legal compliance was only the beginning. What about real results? Successes, reputation regained, international praise restored confidence. PNG was no longer officially seen as a risky nation by FATF and ICRG, improved legal capacity, financial entities had clear laws to follow, FASU became functional, oversight mechanisms were active, better international cooperation, PNG's government worked more closely with APG, foreign FIUs and international bodies. Challenges and partial outcomes, enforcement still weak. Having laws is good, but prosecuting money laundering and asset recovery took longer to pick up. Many cases were reported, but few convictions. The institutions often lacked sufficient resources, staff and technical skills. Vulnerable sectors remain. Sectors like logging, fishing, gold trading and cross-border cash flows continued to be a challenge. Monitoring illicit flows in those sectors remained difficult. Sustaining reform was a challenge. After removal, ongoing oversight, political stability, institutional funding and coordination across agencies became critical. Without constant pressure, reforms risk slipping. Let's talk numbers. What actually happened to PNG's economy post-2016? Foreign direct investment improved. Getting off the grey list helped restore investor confidence, while exact official FDI growth numbers tied only to grey listing are hard to precisely isolate. PNG's investment climate statements report that regulatory reforms and governance improvements helped maintain foreign investment flows. Financial sector stability improved. Banks could maintain or re-establish correspondent banking relationships that had been under threat. Compliance costs rose, but the trade-off was less risk of being cut off from international payments. Trade and financial flows remained intact. PNG could continue its trade without punitive restrictions. Remittances and cross-border transactions were less hindered than they could have been had greylisting persisted. Political dividends followed. The government used the delisting as a political win. Prime Minister O'Neill publicly celebrated the reforms in Parliament and internationally. It strengthened PNG's position in regional forums. Reform doesn't happen in a vacuum. Who made it work or tried to? Peter O'Neill, Prime Minister during that period, his government pushed the legislative reforms and made AML and CTF a national priority. The Bank of Papua New Guinea, particularly through the establishment of the Financial Analysis and Supervision Unit, which was tasked with supervision and intelligence. The National Executive Council approved the legal changes and institutional reforms. Commercial banks and regulated financial institutions, they had to comply with stricter reporting, supervision and suspicious transaction reporting. Many upgraded compliance units. The Asia-Pacific Group on Money Laundering and International Observers provided peer reviews, pressure and technical assistance. PNG's exit from the grey list in 2016 proves that technical legal reforms, political will and institutional building can work. But this round of scrutiny and the 2024 to 2025 mutual evaluation is much tougher. FATF and APG aren't just checking laws, they're checking whether things happen on the ground. Prosecutions, asset seizures, agencies cooperating and illicit flows stopped. If PNG fails to show effectiveness, there's a real chance of being grey-listed again with much worse economic consequences. Papua New Guinea escaped the grey list in 2016. We passed laws, we built institutions, we convinced the world that we were serious. But grey list removal is not a finish line, it's a checkpoint. If the machinery of enforcement, coordination, justice and transparency stops, if we fall back into weak enforcement, the next time might be worse. Will PNG's leaders, citizens and institutions rise to that challenge? Grey listing. Temporary victory doesn't equal permanent security. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like for more important information like this on the next video.